I mean, what can I say about Jordan Peele, really, that hasn't already been said? The guy has become an absolute magician. It's not for the want of hard work, though. I will say this, like, he had, from what I have read and what I've learned, he had to put the work in to get to where he is right now, but he put that work in, and now he's the kind of guy that he can do no wrong. He can ask for probably whatever he wants when it comes to making a film. And that's something we're going to kind of be exploring in this video, as to, you know, what it is he exactly has done to change the face of cinema. He's kind of shown now that black people can lead horror films, and that black people leading horror films does sell. And there's a myth he broke. There's a myth that he and Ryan Coogler with Black Panther broke, and it's interesting. Let's just start, shall we?
I was trying to bring a piece of the conversation I'd never seen put on film before. I felt like there was this void in the way we talk about race.
Welcome to video 5 in this new 10-part series here on Hakuna MaChatter, in which I'm going through some of my favourite heroes when it comes to people bettering representation and diversity in the film and TV industry. So, like, when Get Out came out, who knew that that kind of film could be made, right? Who knew? Jordan Peele knew, and he did, and he made such an incredible film that it had these incredible socio-political undertones to it that also weren't undertones. Like, you're in the cinema and you can just feel the energy off of every black person in there. They know exactly what is going down. Those microaggressions, it's something we face every single day. Believe me when I say it's every single day that kind of thing is felt. But it was also really accessible at the same time, you know, because as much as I'm talking about the black folk enjoying it when I'm in the cinema, I can see all the white people being like, oh, okay, yeah, we get it now. And that was, you know, that was what the power of cinema can do when it is done correctly, when black creatives are actually given a chance to tell the stories that they want to tell. And here is what I'm saying, that Jordan Peele broke down that myth, and it was within conversation with Spike Lee that you know, this came apparent, and I'll be linking that article down below so you can read the conversation between Spike Lee and Jordan Peele, because that's something you're going to want to read. But Spike Lee says to Jordan Peele that both him and Ryan Coogler with Black Panther, they broke down that Hollywood myth that black films don't travel, that people around the globe don't care about the black films that black Americans are creating. Well, yeah, we do. And actually, let's kind of try and move away from calling them black films, because they're not. Jordan Peele didn't make a black film, he made a horror film. Just so happened that there was a black lead. That's what happened there. And then he did the same with Us. He then made this horror film that wasn't anything to do with race, but the central family, not even just person, the central family were this black family. But yeah, as I say, like, Jordan Peele had to come through a lot of hard work in order to get there. Jordan Peele worked for years developing the script for Get Out. He knew that it had to be airtight. He knew that that thing needed, you know, it could not falter in any kind of way. And then he brought that to a producer, a white producer, and that white producer, he was the gatekeeper. He could have said, I ain't making this is a black film, this ain't gonna travel. You know, that would be within his bias, and that's okay, we all have biases. But he turned around and said, no, yeah, we're gonna make this film. This is actually good. And I say actually good because here's the other thing. We don't know as to how many great screenplays, great scripts, amazing things come forward to producers, come forward to heads of studios that are from black writers, female writers, Latinx writers, etc. You know what I mean, etc., that don't get made because of who has written them or because of who the story is about. But now Jordan Peele has fully opened that door, and again I say with Ryan Coogler as well, because we cannot forget equally the impact of Black Panther alongside Get Out.
I spent 10 years laughing, and you know, but I had something else to say, and I had something I think a more important statement that I had to put in a long form.
But since directing both Get Out and Us, you know, Jordan Peele, he definitely had a look at things, and this is something that I saw in my reading ahead of this video, is that he noticed that the gatekeeping is what's stopping projects being made. So he had to say, well, do you know what? I'm going to be a producer then, and that's what he did. And he got the opportunity, he was given the opportunity to direct Black Klansman, and actually he said, well, I'm making something else at the moment, that was Us, but let me, you know, can I be producer instead? And boom, there he was, and then boom, there was Spike Lee directing, and you look at the film Black Klansman, what we got in the end. I mean, I kind of feel that Black Klansman was a film that deserved Spike Lee, and it was Jordan Peele there that was able to say this film needs that director. And I don't know that you would have got that with someone else in that hot seat. But then he's also exec producer on the current HBO show Lovecraft Country, which is airing at the moment, and he's also producer for the new horror film Candyman. And with Candyman, he turned around again and made a decision on who the director was going to be, and he brought in a black female director because, again, such a heavily underrepresented demographic, and Jordan Peele is the one there, exactly like Spike Lee did back in the 80s and the 90s, and as you know, he's gone through, and it's bringing people in with him. The same with Ava DuVernay, as I said in my video with Ava DuVernay as well. They bring people in with them, and this is why they are my heroes, because they're not just putting themselves in the spot and being like, cool, right, I'm here, don't need to worry about anything else. They're bringing people with them. So he's got Nia DaCosta directing Candyman, and before that film's even come out, because she's kind of in the limelight, she's now set to be directing Captain Marvel 2 and becoming the first black female director within the MCU, the first minoritized female director within the MCU. So recommendations of what to watch, Jordan Peele. I mean, if you've not watched Get Out and if you've not watched Us, go ahead, that's your homework, watch them. For me, you don't really need to watch any more of Jordan Peele to understand exactly what he's about than those two films. And also check out Lovecraft Country as well. It's interesting, it's a show set in 1950s America following a black lead, three black leads. And obviously they're having to deal with racism in that era. It's in Southern America. But then at the same time, because it's Jordan Peele exec producing, it's J.J. Abrams exec producing, it's got an amazing sci-fi / supernatural twist to it all. So the next video here on this series, I'll be doing something a little different for you, and I'll be inviting two guests on, Catherine and Rosa from Latinx Lens. They're going to be here to talk Latinx representation, talk to me about some of their diversity heroes. So I think that'll be something really interesting for you guys to check out if you, like me, really don't know much about Latinx representation and how it is developing or not developing, or that's why Catherine and Rosa are coming on, so they can explain more. So if you want to be notified when that video drops, make sure you do subscribe, turn on your bell notification, and we'll see you then. Until then, Hakuna MaChatter.